This is a story of how I turned an old coffee jar into a thriving river ecosystem full of tiny little creatures. I begin by collecting mud from the small stream outside so I can plant the plants inside. Ooh, that rhymed. It is essential to collect mud from the river. This is because it has all the healthy bacteria and microorganisms tap water doesn't have. I then collected 2 small plants from the other side of the river. Next, I wiped all the mud off of the jar so we could see inside. I then collected a large rock from outside. This is to add a focal point to our terrarium. Next, I added a plant called Creeping Jenny into the jar. I'm not entirely sure what plant this is, but I like the look of it, so it's going in the jar. Next, I filled it with water straight from the river. I then added some decomposing leaves into the jar. This is to give the little organisms food. The water was very dirty, making it almost impossible to see through to the other side. This little creature is a freshwater shrimp that somehow got into the jar. There were lots of small animals on the glass, like this tiny snail. After a couple of hours, the water cleared up a bit, but it was still very cloudy, making it hard to see through. In the morning of day 2, the water was a bit clearer again, but it's still got a little while to go before we can see through it clearly. Sadly, the next day, a shrimp was dead. Leave your respects in the comments. Or just don't, if you don't really care, but it's fair enough. Luckily, on day 5, the 2 other shrimp decided to show themselves, so maybe losing one, I can't actually really think of anything good to say about that, I'm gonna be honest. On day 6, the jar was much clearer, and now we can see all the way to the back. I was trying to record a worm, but one of the shrimp thought they were more important. Here you can see the shrimp really clearly when it gets close to the camera. Then I dropped an algae pellet in to see if they would eat it. They seemed interested in the pellet, but almost scared to come out into the open because of how bright it was outside. until 10 minutes later, he finally decided it was time to get it. Seems to be struggling a little bit. And then he decides to make some art for us. I think it's very interesting how every time they move the soil it looks like some kind of art. Then an hour later, the shrimp got half the pellet and decided to show it off to me. I don't really know why it was still messed around with it after an hour, but I don't really know what goes on in the mind of a shrimp, so maybe it had some grand plan. That brings us to the end of our experiment. This jar will continue to thrive without my constant interruptions, but if you'd like to see more of this jar in the future, leave a comment down below, and also check out my channel.